This forum for candidates for mayor and city council for the city of Golden Valley.
So let's start with the opening statements. Now we'll go on to Andy Schuler.
Thanks everyone for coming. My name is Andy Schuler. I was born and raised in Golden Valley. I attended St. Margaret Mary Church, Sonneston Elementary, Plymouth Middle School, Purpose Center for the Arts, and College of Visual Arts. It's a nonpartisan race, so I felt the liberty to appeal to as many political parties as I could. I received endorsements from 3 minor parties: the Ecology Democracy Party, the Green Party 5th District, and the Legal Marijuana Now Party. Let's see what else. I've been working a lot for like the last decade, just volunteering for numerous candidates and political parties, trying to get more choices on the ballot for people in different elections. So I feel like I have a good front row seat to any sorts of injustices or obstructions we might try to get rid of to make our government more accessible to the people. Thanks.
Thank you. The first question is, what are your thoughts on light rail, and what is your perspective on granting municipal consent? Andy Schuler.
Well, being endorsed by 2 ecological-based parties, I'm not happy about the fact that it's going through the park. Preferred it somewhere where there's more people, but since that's where it's going and we don't have much say in it, I guess, I would prefer that we have 1 station. I think 2 half-a-mile apart with no houses or businesses in between seems redundant. Probably save money by having 1. I strongly oppose having any sort of parking space on parkland. I think park space is a space for parks, not parking spaces. Yeah, that land should just be preserved as much as we can for its natural beauty and its sanctuary for wildlife. If I have a solution that could work if we needed a parking situation. There is a park and ride out about a mile down the road near the shopping center. Maybe we could have an electric bus or a streetcar or something that can drive people back and forth. Thank you.
The next question is, please describe your views on what should be done, if anything, to upgrade the Brookview Community Center, and how would you fund any improvements? Andy Schuler.
Thanks. I would love a new community center. Anything over 15 million sounds a little expensive, unless I think it's prudent to include self-sustainability in any multi-million-dollar project so that residents 100 years from now aren't in the same situation we're in. Trying to always think forwardly and sustainability-wise. I would like it to see it be completely solar powered. The technology these days has gotten real good, and solar is already, at equal strength, parity with fossil fuel, and soon we'll be able to make revenue off of it if it generated any surplus energy. That's all I got.
Okay. Thank you, Andy. The next question, I'm going to combine 2 here. Where would you focus redevelopment, and what is your process for determining which development projects to support? And this time we start with Andy Schuler.
2 questions. Do I get 2 minutes?
No.
So, like I said before, I'm all about sustainability and thinking about the future. So, I think I would like to see a lot of development in newer technologies, like the solar community gardens or something. I've been really learning a lot about lately, and they're starting to take off. And they let people and businesses unable or willing to purchase solar panels, whether it's too shady or whatever reasons, that they can still have solar power. And I'm really all about that. Or something like high-speed internet is something they did in Chattanooga. It's 50 times faster and 50 times cheaper than what the private sector is offering us right now. So I think that's pretty interesting.
Okay. Thank you, Andy. How would you improve pedestrian safety in Golden Valley? Andy Schuler.
Yeah, I'd like to hear, there's a lot of agreement on this issue. I imagine a future where there's more walkability and it's less car-centric. There could be a lot of sidewalk repair done in certain areas. I've noticed the ones near the Courage Center seem a little in disrepair. I think we need to think about physically disabled people who get around on sidewalks. Maybe bridges over highways for bikers and pedestrians, like on Theoworth across 55. That would be a nice place for one. More bike paths on streets. And in general, I imagine, I just love the idea of streetcars. What can I say? I think we should have spent the billions on streetcars in every city instead of a light rail line that nobody can agree on where to put. We connect businesses that way in residential neighborhoods. I eventually would like to divorce my car, so I'm all about just getting around without having to use fossil fuels and paying for insurance and all that.
Okay, thank you. I didn't expect that to be such a good discussion about sidewalks. That was great. What areas of government can you make more efficient for residents? Andy Schuler.
Could you do me a favor and refresh that question?
Yes. What areas of government can you make more efficient for residents?
Okay, I got a lot of ideas on there, so let me try to pick one or two. First of all, I think we could utilize something called the Genuine Progress Indicator, and that's a supplement to the gross domestic product. Right now, we kind of base our economic strength on the amount of stuff we produce and consume, and the GPI includes not only economic factors, but social and environmental as well. Strengthening government would also help if we had a proportionally representative electoral system. So I would like to see us replace our block voting system, which is a winner-take-all, with something called choice voting or single transferable vote, which is similar to ranked choice voting, except it's proportional. And that way more people are represented.
Okay, thank you. How should Golden Valley accommodate the trend towards urban farming? We're going to be apple cidering in our driveway next week.
There you go.
Okay, Andy Schuler is next.
Yeah, I love the idea of beekeeping. We should definitely allow residents to do that. I know there's at least a few I've talked to throughout the city that would like to do it legally. As Steve said, there's a shortage of bees, and we need them to pollinate local agriculture. And they're considered a farm animal right now, but we can change that, I think. If I can't change the way our entire electoral system or the way we measure economic progress, let's at least get bees. Community gardens are a cool thing. I'd like to see more of that. I read somewhere that maybe in 50 or 100 years, arable land will be very short. So I'm very concerned about food in general, especially for future generations. Thanks.
Thank you, Andy. The Star Tribune recently reported that Golden Valley city staff have expressed dissatisfaction with their relationship with the mayor and the city council. What is your explanation for this, and what would you do to improve it? Andy Schuler.
Yeah, I'm not entirely convinced about the accuracy of that article either. Most of the council meetings I've attended, they're usually in unanimous agreement with each other about a lot of things. On a personal level, if I was on council, I'm pretty good at getting along with people, working with third parties. I'm not one of those angry third party guys who calls everyone names and has to have their way. I like to find a middle ground at least, and there's usually something everyone can agree on.
Next question. Golden Valley has seen a number of new apartment buildings approved recently. What is your perspective on additional housing needs for Golden Valley, and do you support changes in the way those decisions are made? Andy Schuler.
First, I'd like to comment on how much I like the houses in Golden Valley. There's a lot of cool mid-century types, and just neat architecture in general. It's got a good character to it. The Genuine Progress Indicator, as I mentioned earlier, will help us make these types of decisions. It's a more holistic economic model than just the gross domestic product, which encourages growth, no matter what. So for me, it's more about quality of life than quantity of life. And I also like to see, I guess, some proportionality in our neighborhoods, which I think we have right now. There's a decent amount of apartments and houses, but we could use more room for people who make different levels of income.
Thank you, Andy. The next question is kind of related, perhaps. What is your perspective on current zoning regulations, and what changes would you propose, if any? And Andy Schuler will be the first to answer this question.
Awesome. I'm first to answer a question I haven't thought about much. I am, I guess, youngish and newer at this. So that's something I'd have to look more into before I give you an educated response.
That's a good answer. That's the last question. We're going to go to our closing statements now. Andy, please.
Before I forget, www.voteschuler.org. It's constantly being updated. I got a bunch of more things to talk about, but yeah. You guys are interested in stuff like the Genuine Progress Indicator, proportional representation, direct democracy, local economics, like local currencies. I think that's a really cool idea. Publicly owned utility, energy efficiency, environmental awareness, protecting parks and wildlife, waste reduction, and of course the arts. I don't have a law or a political science degree. I went to art school, but I think we're all relatively qualified in one way or another. I just hope that whoever does win takes some of these ideas seriously and implements them, because there's a lot of potential, even though this is a beautiful city. I grew up here and I moved back after my parents took me out, and thank you very much.
Thank you. And would you join me in thanking them?